We're good.
That one's there, but Cassie's,
Welcome everybody to the July council meeting. We'll convene at 7:02 p.m.
Our mic's on.
Mics are on.
Okay.
Roll call, all council is present. I'd like to recognize our visitors.
Sherry from Lincoln County Economic Development Council.
David Funk from Zen.
Mitchell Reiner from Tri-Cities, Kennewick.
RHYNARD?
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, if we can stand and.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any of our public want to make a statement or make a comment at this time?
It's hot in here.
It's cooler than it would have been. Okay. Any items to remove from the consent agenda?
I think we talked about the minutes.
Do you guys want to pull those? I've got them
Yeah.
printed now, so.
Sure. Yeah, just pull them.
Okay.
Since Cassie's not here, that would be good.
Okay. Any additions to the agenda?
I want to talk about library funding.
Okay. Anything else?
I can do it through the committee report, but mowing, watering of cemetery and the two parks.
Okay. You wanted-
But I can do that, and that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, let's just, add it to that. Okay.
And then I guess, I don't know, you could kind of address this through mayor's comments maybe, but where are we at on the surplus items? Because there was a collection of things that we had authorized, and I was just curious if we had made any progress on it.
In total, we'll just make an addition. All right. Anything else? Okay. Both Lance and Cassie submitted reports to me for what they're up to in their department. I will kind of summarize. Public Works is making a point of, they're working on the sprinklers, getting them re-aimed, adjusting them, replacing them. They're addressing the dry zones, which have kind of creeped up on them, but as they're able to get them addressed, they need to come back quickly. They've got valves that have to be replaced. Pretty sure they've got the supplies to do them, they just need to get the time set aside to be able to get the sprinkler systems up to 100%. With regard to spraying, the pull-behind trailer that they've made has been severely old. So they have done some welding on it to strengthen up the tongue. If someone has the time and the skills to weld it back together stronger and reinforce it, they would not be opposed to that help. So basically, it's a straight bar connected to a piece of angle, and that pinch point just sags. So it's just tired.
Gussets.
probably some angle iron or something like that. They're gonna be getting some maintenance done on the white pickup truck that they're running around with all the time. They just hit 50 hours on the zero turns, so they're gonna be going through and doing all the lubrication and software, or not software, but all the hardware checks on it. The book doesn't call for an oil change until 100 hours, but they're gonna go ahead and do it now since it's a brand new motor. They have been plagued with sewer issues over the past month, more importantly, about the last 2 weeks. So they're working on getting those addressed, and they were putting a camera down one of the lines today to see what's going on, but I didn't get a report on how that went. That's from Public Works.
Is that sewer issue any particular area, or is it just all over?
It's been creeping up on a couple of different places, but specifically our trailer park.
Okay.
Even though they did a ton of work on it last year and put a whole brand new sewer line leading to it, it's still,
That's the one that Ken was digging out, and the previous one didn't have hardly a slope to it.
correct, and they got a slope to it and everything, but apparently it backed up, so they had to use all 100, he says we had to use all 100 feet of their snake to get in there and clear whatever was blocking it. So, it's clear now. And the other one was actually on the other end of town, up on 5th. It's a common problem, and that's where they were supposed to camera it today and find out what was going on. I thought we had it clear, but apparently not. Clerk's report, she will be out for the remainder of July. Did she send this to you?
Yes.
Okay. I'll just again send her. She's working on cleaning up the utility accounts. There's a number of places, both in the water and sewer, that we have all kinds of different rates, and she's trying to figure out why and clean those ones up if there's no documentation. She did go to the AWC's annual conference the last week in June. She had a ton of networking. She's got a ton of notes. She learned a lot and made a lot of connections with people to lean on. She's scheduled to attend the Foundations of City Budget Series through AWC. She's going to be doing those webinars. She's trying to find a low-cost budget to be able to go to the Budgeting and Fiscal Management Workshop in Leavenworth on August 5th and 6th. Our cost would basically be the lodging. We can utilize the scholarships. Since we're a small city, they will let us attend for free. Normally, that's a $300 or $400 seminar to go to. And then she's scheduled to go to another AWC Trust Benefits Forum that has to do with our health insurance benefits, and she's still working towards that Wells City 2027 status. So that's those. And did Michael want to say anything?
Yeah. Okay. Real quick, I apologize for not having a written report for you. I have been unavailable in the last month, and things are things are creeping up on me. So, however, I haven't reported any hours to the city so far, so all of my services have been free of charge. So, no report. I'm not getting paid, so don't argue. I have been going through the codes, the municipal code, and looking at the ordinances, focusing pretty heavily on nuisances, as well as dogs, because those are the things that I've been hearing the most about. And I'm going also through the fee schedule as far as how things are going to work should we get to the point where we have to apply penalties, fees, etc. To folks for non-compliance. I have been making some informal contact with some citizens as far as some things that have been going on. I've been trying to avoid making any formal contact with some of these citizens because that sets a time clock in motion, and I don't want to come in guns blazing, even though somebody wanted my email address I I have a rep, I guess. Anyway, I've been kind of toying around with this idea of trying to come alongside our citizens rather than just coming in and hammering them. You know, it's just not, we've tried that method so many times in the past, and it just hasn't really come to any kind of fruition. So I'm going to come back to that real quick here in a moment. I have been, as I've said, been in here a few times. I've talked to Cassie a little bit, and one of the ideas that we're floating around is sometime this summer doing a community cleanup in August or September prior to our fall festival days. Making that known to the community and making available additional dumpsters. Or even, I've been in contact with the county transfer station in regards to another matter, and I'm thinking, and Cassie's been in touch with them as well, they are willing to work with us as far as low cost, no cost, as far as getting things over there. If we're willing and able to get some people to help volunteer to unload metal and appliances, they said we could even have a no-cost day if we haul it over there and unload it. They won't charge us for it. So it's something that maybe we can go out and get to the community as soon as possible so that we can kind of start looking at making sure, I know it's a little late for this coming weekend, but maybe by fall festival time we can spruce up or clean up a little bit. So speaking of volunteers, I'm going to be talking to some people about coming alongside the city and coming alongside our citizens. There are some citizens who just don't have the ability or the know-how to comply with some of these ordinances, and it would be really great if somebody would be willing to step up and say, hey, yeah, I'll go mow that lawn, or I'll go weed whack for them, or whatever, if I'm going to just volunteer to help them out. It avoids some entanglements of having the city step in and take care of things. So you may get a call, hey, I've got this going on, can you help me out with it? Probably not you guys, but other individuals within the city that I think I can count on to help us out. As of this point, here's my little gripe on the minutes. I do still need to get access to the building so I can come in and work. I really do not want to be doing this in my home. I would rather be doing it in an official capacity here at City Hall. I want to be able to get online and store records here rather than on my own personal stuff. And so I'll need to get access to the Knuckles email or whatever it was. I don't know what it is. And so I'll need to get access, then also be able to log in here to store records, and as well to get into Springbrook so that I can look up people's contact information and so forth to say, hey, here's your official notice. You need to get this taken care of, that taken care of, whatever. So anyway, that is my unwritten, unofficial kind of / official report for the month. I'll try and do better for you next month. And like I said, this is a freebie, so we'll go from here. Okay, thank you. Any questions, by the way?
We can get his access without a problem, right?
Absolutely.
To City Hall.
Well, it's in my mayor's notes, but we
Okay.
have a little session that we need to come
Okay.
up with, so, yes.
We're gonna talk about building access specifically.
No, we're talking about technology access.
Okay. Well, with business access, I've said before, it's one person's opinion, but I think that one of the luxuries that we have here, as opposed to the library, is we have a vault that we can lock things in, and we have a lot of things like I've made it known before. I have a key. I think every councilman should have a key if they want one. I think Mr. Cronrath should have a key. Like this should be open, in my opinion, for anything that is official business. And if there's things that the clerks say, well, we don't want, well, store it in there, and that should be the solution to it. So
Key's not an issue.
no, I know.
It's
I'm
a
just
matter
saying.
of
I think it's
getting
just.
it cut.
I don't know
finding
what our
it.
official policy is on that, so I'm just saying I endorse his request towards that.
Yeah, that was the key. I think the bigger challenge is having a working, viable computer he can log into here to gain access to everything. So,
Yep.
and it's halfway started, so.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. C.
Tell you what, I will get you a key tomorrow. All right. Committee reports. Anything from the budget committee?
Not that I can think of, other than we can talk about the library stuff later under additions, or we can talk about it under the auspices of this, I guess.
I will say that we are now at the 6-month mark of 2026, so this is a great time to be looking at where we're at and starting to set the stage for 2027. And in my notes, I have in here if we can maybe create a workshop date, just start looking at that stuff. So think about that maybe at the end of.
Well,
tonight's
we've said this for at least the last year, if not two. It would be good for us to do a budget amendment, mid-year budget amendment.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so think about that and hopefully we can schedule that tonight before we're done.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything from the employee handbook?
I think I would like, can we make a commitment as a council if I make sure you guys all know how to get to it? Can we commit to reading it before our next meeting? Because I think it would be good to then have at least an initial discussion and then set up a workshop after that to figure out what this year's batch of changes are. I don't think it should be as big. We've been honing it in. Last year's changes were significant. I don't think we would have any, I've not heard any dissatisfaction that was nearly as large as what we addressed last year. So I don't think it should be major.
Okay. And if you don't have it or can't get to it for some reason, it's digitized, I can send it to you.
Yeah, it's on files.harrington.ca. I'll send out an email before the end of the meeting.
I found it.
Is there any one particular? Is there any particular area you're looking at?
I don't have one off the top of my head. I just think it would be good for us to get into a cycle of at least reviewing it, not for the sake of changes, but it's also practical for us to review it every year. I don't know if the council will be able to read all the ordinances every year, but the handbook's something we should be able to keep fresh in our mind, because that way if anything comes up procedurally or if there are employee issues or something, hopefully we'll have it all on the tip of our tongue a little bit.
Cool. Cemetery.
Okay, the last meeting we talked the Public Works talked about flowers up at the cemetery, and that's what we need to change in the minutes. I didn't say exactly what I said, and so informally we've had basically a few of us have talked about this, including my wife and a couple people that do a lot of decorating up there. So tentatively, this is what we are considering. We want to have it, go ahead. We're not going to vote on anything tonight, I don't think.
Okay.
Do you
Because
want-
I put it on the agenda
Okay.
to have this very discussion.
Okay, then I will wait.
Okay. Okay. But you wanted to talk about
The watering, and you somewhat addressed that, and the mowing, and they did mow the cemetery today. I'm glad they did. I hope they mow the park and the triangle before this weekend. And they just need to water more. I know that they said that we're on the same schedule. They just need to run it longer and or more days, particularly when it's hot like this. And you mentioned that there's dry spots up there
Yeah.
and stuff.
No, they're watching it pretty hard. I think they're also finding that, because I was cautioned this morning that we will be buying more sprinkler heads, so I have a suspicion some of them that are popping up are not operating correctly, that were damaged.
And part of it, they just need to look when they turn them on. I drove by the park and it was on. This was a week ago. Drove by the park, it was on. It was sprinkling the bus garage. Was not hitting the park. And that's a manual turn on. You would have thought that we could have seen that it was spraying
At the park.
at the park.
Okay. Yeah, I know that most of their concern has been up
Yeah.
at the cemetery.
Well, a question I've got, you go up there middle of the day, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, heat of the day, and our biggest, driest areas are what are being watered at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Seems to me like we need to roll that thing into where we're, putting this water on in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
you
Well,
know?
I think that's going to require well, not
But it's
required,
automatic
but
up there.
It's on the, I mean, all you gotta do is set the clock.
oh, you're talking about up there. It's
Up at the cemetery.
Yeah, it's a cemetery.
Yeah, because that's got a new timer, because the other
Yeah.
one didn't work after we got a new building, so.
It would just be a matter of programming it to start and run that cycle mostly in the dark if possible, in the cool part of the day. I
Okay,
would think.
I'll talk to him tomorrow morning.
10 to 4. 10 p.m. to 4 a.m.
Okay. Anything else?
And Beth and I went down and readjusted the sprinklers down to Triangle so that they are hitting most everything. There was one that was not moving, so I kicked it a couple times.
Those have a
Did you have to get the
tendency,
hammer out?
those have had a tendency to disappear at times.
Well, I'm sure because you can take them right out of the ground, and they're probably pretty pricey.
Yes, they are.
I'm guessing
We've bought a few.
you plug them in, and
Oh,
they're
like the
rainbirds.
key- the key?
Oh, okay.
They go into a fitting in the
Yeah.
ground, and you push them in and then turn them.
Yeah, the keyed ones.
Yeah, the keyed ones. And they,
What the football field.
Yeah.
yeah, what the football field used to be. Anyway, so we did a little adjusting, and we know how to turn them on and off. In fact, Lance even asked us one day to go turn them off, so we went and turned them. It took me a while the first time to find it, but I did find it.
Cool. Well, thank you.
No problem.
We're not paying you.
I'm on the same pay scale as Mr. Conrad.
Building codes.
Nothing,
Okay.
and that's
did
my
we
fault.
did we ever come to a resolution with Julie Jacobson?
No, we are looking to do, maybe that's another workshop we need to schedule, is to readdress some of the zoning requirements. Because of that, I've kind of left the whole container thing.
Because if we can't, in my opinion, if we can't come to a more permanent solution on that, we need to give her a yay or a nay on an exception. Because we shouldn't just hang her out forever.
Has she asked for an exception?
Well, she sent the letter initially.
And that's the only thing that really, okay.
So,
And I take it that was not for a permanent building.
It's there because economically, it's what's reasonably
Right.
affordable for the next 2 or 3 years while they come up with plans to put a permanent structure on that
Well,
site.
my suggestion in the meantime, just issue a continued or conditional use permit. Be done with it.
Well, that's
Covers it.
part of our building codes issue because technically it's in a residential area.
Do we want to open ourselves up to, temporary on everything, everywhere? Because that could be an excuse. I think we need to have some kind of a policy as far as, if they're there for a certain period of time.
Yeah.
We
We have a
just
policy for containers and that's
So-
what
I
brought
don't think
this
we
up,
want
was
to
I
leave
was
ourselves wide
enforcing
open
them.
for
and-
everybody just plunking one down and then it never moves.
So are you for or against a conditional use?
I'm kind of against it. I think,
They're a temporary thing. They're not a set in stone.
well, that'd be all right.
But we're opening the door for everybody to apply for, and then
For a
we have to make the
conditional use.
judgment on that. I think a policy
each
would be
one.
better.
Well, that's something I'll save to workshop.
Okay.
well, then to that end, I guess it sounds like we've already touched on maybe 3 things tonight where we're floating workshop. So I'll say that I think we should look for a meeting in 2 weeks. Usually we've been doing once a month, but I think either we need a full hour before our next meeting in August, or we should just do a second one in July. I know, David, both of you will be harvesting, I guess.
I will not be here either.
Oh, okay, well then I guess
In
we
July?
should kick it to August,
No,
but
in
He's
2
ran a
weeks.
truck for me.
Well,
Okay, so let's keep that in the back of my head and I'll address.
But we
that
need to
at the
do
end.
something, because otherwise, we've kicked this can for
Yeah.
2 months, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
People think that's all we do is kick cans.
Code
It's
enforcement.
not all we do.
Anything new to report, David?
none at this time.
Okay, and events in the city, anything?
Other than what I submitted before.
Okay. I will say, it's in the mayor's comments, but the Harrington Vintage Country Fair is this weekend.
Is it already?
It's all that, yeah.
Holy cow.
It's normally in June, they moved it to this weekend, because the June date just was never a good day. It was either too hot or too cold, so. Anyway, we'll dial
Now
in
we're going for
that.
too hot.
Yeah, it's only gonna do.
Yeah, I've got the signs. In fact, I went and got the signs for the last date. I didn't see was changed. So we've got the signs to close the road again.
Okay. That is one thing I need to work with you, is getting the codes of what we need and where to get them, so I can get them ordered. Or at least you can get them ordered and I'll give you a credit card, whatever the case is, but we need
I
to.
think what I would do is, personally, I think we should just wait through the fall festival. We've got a really good working relationship with the DOT. They aren't in any hurry to, I would think, get through the fall festival, see how that works. Then we will be through our full cycle and then order them through the winter.
Mm.
And then we can, work with Stephen or the budget committee as far as, where we're gonna put that and, make things a little easier to do, I would think. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I think if the county's good with that, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, they're fine with it.
All right. Okay, closes our committee reports. Next on our agenda is, Mitchell, you wanted to address the council with regard to drilling a private well on your property. Do you guys all know which property I'm talking about? I
Yeah.
put it, okay.
So, before this property was purchased, I understood that I could get water and sewer there, no problem. Property was purchased. Then I was told that there was an overcapacity going on, and there was some problems with the well. Okay, and then I was told that they had a solution, and I don't know if that worked or didn't work, but it didn't pan out. So I'm back to square one, where I can't start doing anything with the property until, for it to be habitable, until I have utilities, well, definitely water. And I'm more interested in hooking up to the city utilities, to be honest with you. I'm not really crazy about a well. So I guess where my question lies is, where are we at on being able to provide water to this lot? And if you can't get water, then am I going to be given the right to put a well in?
I can address this.
Okay.
It's been a very busy week on this regard, so, and I've not had a chance to talk to you. So, I won't make any secret about this. I've mentioned it before. We are allowed 260 connections in our water system. The audit was done, and I did a final count where any property that is connected to the water system right now, whether it's on or off, is a connection. We are actually at 275. So we're 15 over. Now, here's the good news, Mitchell, is I sensed maybe a softening of the position from the Department of Health. So we are actively working with our water engineer, TD&H. They're going through our inventory list, there is a process where they can basically grade each connection. One of the biggest one of the biggest users of connections percentage-wise are our commercial connections, which is also one of the areas that we were most off. We have 50 different water connections that are non-residential in the city, which is a lot.
That's higher than I would have thought.
But to put it in perspective, there's a water connection at our well house. We may not draw more than 4 or 5 gallons a year out of it, but it's still technically a connection. And there's a lot of other connections in the city that are connected but are using little to no water at all.
Right.
For that matter, Julia Jacobson's property has a water connection. Nothing's connected to it. I mean, they're not drawing anything out of that. So they're gonna take that, the engineer has a process to go through, and in this case, it's solely for the purpose of getting you a water supply.
Would that have anything to do with the capacity analysis?
That is exactly what it is.
Oh, okay. So you and Devin have talked then?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. No, Devin and I have talked, and our engineer and I have been talking, and we had conversations last evening and this morning, and so we're actively working on trying to get that done. For one, I want to get off of Department of Health's radar for being over-connected. And the second, quite honestly, well, probably more importantly, is to be able to actively give you a water source without restriction. So,
So do we have any time frame that's close to this, or?
I am hoping to see something by the end of next week.
Oh, excellent.
At least an indication of where our connections are. It's still gonna be up to the Department of Health to grant us the allowance. I don't know how long that takes, but the analysis should be done, if not by the end of this week, the end of next week.
Okay, well, Mal and Devin are right up to point. So, as it sits right now, the analysis is pretty much the only thing we're waiting on.
Yeah, and like I said, that got done. The connection audit got completed over the weekend. So,
Is this ecology or health?
I'm sorry, this is Department of Health. This is
Okay.
Department of Health that gives us the permits for how many connections.
Isn't this something that our city crew, since we've got the 2 people on from middle of last month, this was one of the projects that they were doing, was putting together this audit.
They were getting me the raw data,
Yeah,
yeah. But
so
then,
it's something that's just coming right now, you just have to be right in the middle of it.
yeah, so it's, if there was good timing for this to get resolved, it's right
Yeah.
now. So,
Yeah, okay.
'cause everything's
How
in
many, you said 260 connections are allowed?
that's what our permit is for,
Okay, 260, and you said there's how many?
275.
And for what it's worth, because David and I have been on council the longest. Well, technically Jim was on council before any of us, but this was not something that we heard of this number at all. Like in the early years, I don't remember this ever even coming up as a limit.
It never was.
And then it initially, maybe 2-3 years ago, it came up as by the way, there's a limit, but we're like 10 away from it, or we're 5 away from it. And we're like, okay, something to think about. And then we kept looking at all these little connections that were never recorded and forever, because I think they were just added. Well, we even have some instances of people just adding a connection without telling anyone. That's in our history as well. And so then we actually add all these up, and the number just keeps growing. Like it's every time this number comes up, it's about 5 or 10 higher than the last time we heard it. So a valid question from your perspective is, how does a council let this happen? Well, ultimately the buck stops with us no matter how you slice it, but some of it is we just didn't even know this was a problem to address until recently. Like we knew it was coming maybe 2-3 years ago, and then no new water connections were added, but yet the number kept growing every time the number came up. So that's how we ended up here. Sorry for your inconvenience.
I think we've got a lot of, old houses have been taken out, vacant lots, and that the water service and the meter's still there. It's not, really servicing anything. Is that something that, as we go through this audit, that we will determine that these aren't viable and remove them?
We'd have to probably look at what we are allowed and not allowed to do from a real estate point of view, but I can tell you right now, if I owned a piece of property and it had water to it, and someone, whether I was using it or not, and someone suddenly said, oh, you don't have water anymore, that's a problem. Any more than it was suggested that somebody would give up their water connection so Mitchell could be connected. And I don't know who that person is, but that would be not the wisest decision for someone who owned a piece of property to give up their water to it.
Well, I think what you're gonna see is, our new fee schedule where everything becomes active now. I think you're gonna see some people will go ahead and take it out so they don't have to pay the fees.
And that might not be wise, but I think and hope they will.
That could, yeah, because there's a number of connections here. There are 2 properties that are not being used at all.
They're owned, somebody owns them.
Yeah.
But,
There may have been water at your property at one point or another.
I don't remember there being a house.
I don't remember a house being there either, but
I haven't looked for the utilities yet. But
Yeah.
I'm in the process of going
No,
to see
I
that.
can almost guarantee you there's no water, because I'm not gonna lie, getting water to that property is
It's not gonna be easy.
to be a challenge.
Rock solid.
There's sewer on Linden on the opposite side of your property, but the closest water is the block opposite you. So,
I have a question. The Department of Health's reasoning on limiting us on water is?
it has to do with, there's a lot of factors, and the biggest thing is, can we safely
Reliably provide.
drinking water and fire suppression to our community?
Okay.
And they're looking at how much volume of water we can get out of the ground, how much water we can store. When and if we ever get our water system plan done, you're gonna see it calls for another water tank. And that's mostly to improve our firefighting capacity.
Well,
And
yeah.
I'm just saying,
In the way they think of
in
it.
the way they think,
That's not the way the fire commissioners
the-
have told me they think of it. But,
and they, quite honestly, they look at the age of our infrastructure.
yeah.
So, and that's not gonna be a positive tick for us, because so much of our mains are getting pretty old.
So most of these small communities in the county and even in the area are probably in a similar situation.
I can tell you from the capacity and infrastructure part, absolutely. I don't know about their connections,
Well,
but
I
I have
know-
a suspicion they're all.
Pretty sure Davenport, when they started building out and wanted water, they put a moratorium on construction until they drilled another well and put up another tower.
Don't have it.
Reardon had a moratorium for years.
Yeah, until they put,
Till they put that well clear out the county line.
yeah,
So,
and another tower.
yeah. It's,
I will say this, I looked into this for a while because I could not believe that it was legal to drill a well inside of city limits.
That's what
I would have bet so much money and lost.
I took 6 hours
Yeah.
2 days ago, and whether we want them to or not,
Yep.
we can't stop. The Department of Health maybe could, because
A few
you would be
factors.
punching a well into what is classified our circle around both wells, and they go out probably 2-3 miles from where the well is. And I think that would be the only way that, if we wanted to stop you from drilling a well, that we could do it. But any ordinance we have,
And to be like, I don't want to stop you from getting your water.
Yeah.
In your chair, I get that you're like, we're cool. From my chair, just no face to it. The last thing I ever want to see is a well drilled in Harrington.
well.
But if we don't, the only way we can prevent a well from being drilled in Harrington is to have room on that number.
Right.
And that was news to me.
So one hurdle I will tell you that you would have, if things fell the way they were and we said, yeah, drill a well, you still have to go through a number of steps with the Department of Health and with the department, or with the county health department.
Yeah, I'm already on board with that. I
Okay.
already know my position on that
Yeah.
situation.
So one of the challenges I would think that would be for any property in Harrington is coming up with 100-foot clean zone around the well. Which my understanding is no buildings, no nothing. We've got one property here that'll work for that, and it's only if the well is drilled within like a 6-inch or a 6-foot radius somewhere in there, we have 100-foot clean zone around it. But that's a tough one to come up with, and that's why most wells, when they need to be refurbished in a city and they want to just re-drill them, they're not allowed to because the way the city built
Well,
up.
obviously our two aren't.
Nope.
No, we could never these could never be drilled again.
Yeah.
So now 1912, when well number 1 was drilled, there was nothing out there. So, okay, so we're good. You've got your number. We'll keep in touch and we'll let you go, or, keep you up to date with what's coming up.
So, sounds like you're in the process of making this happen?
That's the goal. I
Okay.
mean,
So, the way I understand it right now, there's no reason to believe this isn't going to happen. Is that correct?
Well, we're not in control of whether it does, but we're on a good track. Is that what I'm getting, Joe?
what I'm saying is I'm in supporting of it and I'm pushing for this to happen for you. Okay. I live in a world though that I don't say absolutely gonna happen until it absolutely happens. So, sorry, that's just.
Like I say, I'm not really crazy about drilling a well. I'd rather have utilities. But if this cannot be done, then do I have am I granted the right to put a well in?
I don't believe we can restrict you. That's one councilman's
Okay.
opinion.
Okay.
The only thing that would restrict you is your set aside or your,
The Department of Health might be able to restrict you, but I don't think.
but we can't.
I don't think
can.
we can.
The state law does not, I can tell you that.
Okay. Well, there's some other problems with that too that I found out because I've been dipping into the laws and the legalities and. Anyways, that'd be great to get the utilities. I have no problem with that. Hooking up to the city water, city sewer. I'm good with that. If that's what we can do, I am good with that.
Yeah.
And you're familiar with our fee structure for connecting to water,
Last I was told, it was $600.
plus time and materials. So if you're a ways away from water and it's in rock, I would budget for more than $600.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to say this, but yes, we live on a big chunk of basalt. And to do it right, because I'm looking at trying to replace a water line right now, but the way they put it in 80 years ago, they basically carved out a 6-inch, 7-inch wide channel in the rock and only got down 18 inches before they buried it, which is not okay around here. Gets too cold. So,
It's how deep?
in that particular part of town, it's only 18 inches deep. But it was probably
That's why
done-
there's water dripping going on in the
It was
wintertime.
done 90 years ago, and it was probably done by a bunch of guys with picks and shovels and,
Back when there weren't 100 million codes, huh?
well, and back,
Yeah. True.
back when there wasn't,
Right.
big hammers on excavators. So,
Okay, well, I guess I kind of got my answers. And hopefully this will work out to everybody's liking.
so, yeah, like I said.
We do too.
Yeah.
We do
I
too.
got one other question too. So you know that the town is going to eventually grow, correct?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Okay, so is there any moratorium going on about making it so that isn't going to be a problem as far as utilities go?
It is going to be a problem as far as utilities go. And I don't know that mathematically there's any way for it to not be a problem. We do not have enough levers to affect our income to properly plan for city growth, in my opinion.
So it's the income's, yeah, because I guess you had to turn down $1 million.
We couldn't, which we couldn't service. Like we don't have. I think the council has, since I've been on it, always had a great desire to be fiscally responsible. But when you've got all the liabilities of the aged infrastructure around here, that's just to service everything that exists. And then plus the concept to grow, we are not prepared for it and we won't be prepared for it. And especially what's changed in the last couple of years is the state wants to dangle loans in front of us, saying, take the loan. More than take the loan, they're twisting our arm hard to say, if you don't take the loan, lefties over here is going to come break your legs because we want you to take the loan. Well, and probably it will be forgiven. Well, that's a probably that could be a $30 difference in our water bills. $30 of difference. Like, and say, well, hey, if you can promise me this will be forgiven, that'd be one thing. But I'd rather take the money to the casino and go put it on red than to do this kind of a thing. And that was just for the plan, mind you. That was not one shovel touching the ground. That was paying nearly $1 million to get a stack of paper. And then we'd have to get more money to actually put a shovel in the ground. So that's the position that we're in here, that you say Harrington's going to grow. Yeah, I know. And I don't know of any way for us to be prepared for it.
So there's no contingencies going on as far as putting another well in?
That's $1 million proposition.
We need storage.
Pardon me?
We need the storage.
That's another $1 million proposition.
That's actually two and a half million.
Sorry. I was off by 2.5 million.
Oh, well. The government does it all the time and they can't account for it.
Yeah, but we can't print money here. That's our problem.
I was going to do it, but I heard they don't like competition.
We can't tax.
No.
Well, some, but.
That's some interesting stuff you just said. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
Yeah, so come get on council in a couple of years and help us through it.
I might just have to. I'm going to push my son to be on it
Okay, there you go.
since he created this problem for me.
They tend to do that.
Life would be boring otherwise, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, are we ready to move on?
Did we answer everything at least to now?
I think so.
Okay.
So,
We're going to try our damnedest to get you water.
well, that would be just terrific if we can go that way. 'Cause I
We'll try.
would rather go.
Not
that way.
guaranteeing nothing, but
Yeah,
we'll try.
Okay.
All right. Were you planning on being here?
Yes?
Here, I know, but I mean, I
Just randomly.
I put Zen on the agenda
Yeah.
over the weekend just because I knew we needed to get a conversation going on about where things were at. So
Yeah.
I quite honestly wasn't expecting you to be here, but I'm glad that you are.
Yeah.
So,
I usually come a month after,
okay.
and my goal is to get our contract signed so I can go build this thing.
So the contract has been gone through by our attorney. Brought up some issues that need to be resolved. So since you're here, I'll just
Please.
tell you. So the contract puts the whole ownership thing is gonna have to be ironed out.
Okay.
You own it or Commerce owns it. That was that last paragraph that you were saying. It was like, well, wait a minute, you don't even own it. Commerce is basically saying that if they give you the money to buy that equipment, they own it.
Commerce owns the percentage that they fund.
Okay. So you can't sell us something that you don't own. So I need to figure out how do we, 10 years from now or whatever that ends up looking like,
Yeah.
how does that transfer without having the something hanging overhead, well, they normally will, or they should.
Mhm.
It needs to find a way how we can make that more definitive, so that.
So I think there's two options there. One, in receiving the grant, we told Commerce that we are going to transfer ownership to Harrington, you know, in 10 years' time for $100, right? That was what we had in our application. I did not know that they would own the stuff that they funded. That was news to me when we were doing this contract with Commerce. So I think the easy thing is to transfer the ownership that I do own, and Commerce continues to own in name only. They don't pay for anything, they don't fix anything, they don't monitor anything.
And they don't expect a share of the electricity produced.
They don't expect anything. It's just they own it, and it's an annoyance.
So then we would need that contractually stipulated that they would hold no claim to the electricity produced.
What they threw out to David last week, and he passed on to me, was a verbiage that is, for them to fund him, this verbiage has to be in our contract
Yeah.
with Zen.
Basically, if the equipment gets damaged, you need to tell Commerce. That's the only requirement in there. So I think the easy answer for the ownership is I transfer what I own.
Sure.
And that might be these 15 panels and that steel pole.
Yeah, so.
But do you hear what I'm saying? That I want, unless I'm missing why this isn't pertinent, if they own a percentage of the panel, then I would think by rights they own a percentage of the electricity generated.
No. Or not
It-
in any of the contracts that we've signed.
The verbiage does not indicate that at all. It's strictly ownership, not.
So
what-
there's a separate provision talking about the ownership of electricity produced, or is that just an implied concept?
The paragraph that they want added in has to do strictly with ownership, and I don't have it. in front
Of
me.
the system.
Of the system, but it says nothing about they own the product of, or they own.
Well, I don't know. I'm not a
Because-
lawyer. Maybe that's not actually a thing, but I would just guess that if you own part of a solar panel that's installed, to me, it would seem logical that you would perhaps have a claim to what it produces, but maybe that's not how lawyers think.
Here's the deal, this is a 10-year contract. Whether you guys like it or not, I will not be the mayor in 10 years. Okay? So.
Well, you say that now.
But noted, I think the easiest way is we just transfer ownership over for
Yeah,
what we own
so-
and.
So that was one
Concept.
issue that we need to get ironed out.
Okay.
Insurance cost is another thing. The way the contract is currently written, we would basically be responsible for insuring the system instead of David.
At my cost. I pay
So-
for the insurance.
So what I did find out literally this morning,
Great.
that I can't, our insurance policy is in fact a replacement cost policy for everything. So that was a little alarming, but hey, we'll take it. And roughly $250 a year is the current price.
$250 per
Yeah,
year.
Yeah.
Great.
So
That is,
just did not want to, but that's gonna, and I reread the contract, and there's basically, we say, well, it cost us $350 this year, and we send David a bill, David reimburses the city immediately $350, and then he rolls that $350 into the
Yep.
rate that we pay, so he's basically, we get that cost covered immediately, but then we end up paying back Zen throughout the course
For
of the
the
year.
it's a pass-through cost. I have found that the insurance price in Harrington versus Pullman versus Spokane, that's well above my ability to manage that risk. If I needed to manage this risk as a business, I have in my model $892. So in that scenario, if it's $250, that's $700 back to you guys. That
So.
we don't do that. But this is how we've been doing all of our schools and all of our other town projects.
And that's great. I just know
Yeah.
that I'm running my
I'm
own
happy that
race,
you checked
so-
on the price, because I've gone in dark on a couple of these. And I've been super conservative with the estimate thus far.
So, there's a paragraph in there that talks about that our insurance company will be graded blah, blah, blah by AM Best. we do not technically have an insurance company.
Okay.
None of the cities do. It's basically, we're getting, it's a co-op of sorts, is probably the best way to describe it. They buy reinsurance so that any catastrophic thing that happens, they can get reimbursed, but basically, they're just a great big bucket of money that they collect from all the cities.
Okay,
And then,
cool.
so there is no grading.
Okay.
Because they're not, what was the other thing that came up? The additional insured, because they're not an insurance company, they can't do the additional insured, but there's something, I gotta reread what they said, but there's a way to get that addressed. So that seemed less daunting as I went through that with them. The area that we'd really have to work out is that the contract basically eliminates Zen from having any liability to us for the system, which I find concerning, because if there's something in the system that fails and we end up with a power spike is what I keep going to, that takes out one of our $10,000 motors up there, the way the contract is read right now, it's like you're like going, we'll fix what broke, but you're on your own for your own equipment, because you guys take no liability for what the system does to our equipment.
Okay.
So,
Well, we can talk about that offline. I'm not quite getting, because it would be behind the same meter. The concern is it'd be behind the same meter as the wastewater treatment plant.
We have two options to interconnect. One behind the same meter at the wastewater treatment plant, and the other is actually behind the meter at that cell phone, the internet facility, which you guys pay the meter for. So, and then we can
co-location
transfer credits between the two.
lab.
Yeah.
You're talking about the building?
Yeah,
itself?
that building right
It's the lab we use for our sewer, but the other half of it is where the fiber comes into the site.
Okay.
So,
we could interconnect into either of those places, and we are behind the meter. We actually interconnect into the main service panel with our own breaker. So I think that's where,
I was just using that
No,
as
no,
an
it's good- it's
example,
good
but I
point.
mean, it could be as simple as the contractor that you choose puts it in poorly, we have a windstorm, and it falls over onto our building. I mean, it's just, the way it's read, you guys have no responsibility for what your system does to our stuff,
okay.
which is great for you. I will say this, our attorney was pleasantly surprised that he was reading a contract that he felt was well-written.
Boy, that's a high bar.
Yeah, for
And I'm not,
him.
if he's watching, because I know sometimes he does, I'm glad that you defend the city to the extent that you do. And I mean that really as a compliment, but just don't underestimate the compliment you just received. Nobody gets that.
So where the contract came from was the Solar Energy Industry of America, or SEIA. This is their generic power purchase agreement that I've very lightly tweaked with like the insurance provisions to work for schools.
Well, it's,
So this has been tested to be as fair as like, because I've been in deals where a contractor or somebody comes in and you're like, this is as one-sided as it gets. Like, I'm not
well,
signing this.
and that's the way it's supposed to be, you know, that's where you're supposed to start from something. So anyway, that's where we're at with this. And I was gonna have this conversation with you and then talk to David, but since
No, I
you're
appreciate it.
here, you're.
Yeah.
So how soon do we think you can get this going so he can get it going?
Well, David and I need to work out these
Those
details.
things, but
And
you're
then-
thinking,
and then
do
I've got to
we-
get that finished deal so you guys can review
Okay.
it and approve it.
So when do you need this approved by?
Well, what I had been doing in the last month was kind of evaluating the ground mount system versus the tracking system. And I do believe that the tracking system is the best option. I just spent yesterday I was in Freeman mowing a bunch of solar panel, mowing a project that would be about twice the size as this. And that's just a lot of like dainty work. You can't be on a riding mower if you're mowing underneath the panels, and the grass always grows more underneath the panels than in full sunlight. So that took me probably about an hour and a half with like weed whacking. 3 times a year I have to, or maybe 4 times a year, since it's Spokane, it gets more rain. So I'm now in the situation, and I was in Ritzville today, kind of pulling weeds, killing time before coming over here. I was in Lind looking at basalt. Where our project in Lind has encountered this thing called rock. And basically the trackers are 3 holes that you need to dig rather than probably 60 or 70 for the ground mount, plus less maintenance cost. So I've been doing that. It would allow us to be 20% cheaper because you produce about 50% more power. And your savings ultimately go up by another about $50,000 over the lifetime of the system. So that was my diligence, is evaluating those 2 options. But ultimately, that tracking company has trackers that I've just bought for another project in Spokane that I want to go put a purchase order on. They have some that a Native American tribe stalled on, so they are, it's not quite a fire sale, but it's like a 15% discount. And, you know, that's, for the other project, it's 200, and so it's about $100,000 worth of trackers. So 15% of 15 grand, like that's a meaningful thing. So I don't want to pressure anybody and all this stuff. I want you guys to understand it. But yes, as early as possible that we can kind of align on a contract and you guys could vote on
So
it.
can we schedule a special morning meeting just to get that vote out?
Yeah, I'll get this to the front of our attorney's deal so we can start working on it. I can do some redlining of the contract, like I said, taking out that section about the insurance company grade, because it's not gonna happen, it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
So-
if you have a suitable alternative, which I'm sure that you guys, those towns have created. I think the only issue that I have not encountered in any of these things, I mean, other than commerce, because this is our first commerce project, but I think we can get through that, is the liability. If we install it and it falls on your building, I view that as my liability. So I'll also review the contract to say, like, if we create that damage, that's
Yeah,
my
the-
shit,
the,
not
the way it
yours.
was, the way the attorney read it,
Okay.
it was like, yeah, you guys basically get to put it up, collect and walk away, and if
Yeah.
it causes any problems or damage, you're just, whatever.
Yeah, I have not read it that way. What we have in there is like if you have a city employee back their truck up into that, that's the scenario where you guys would be liable for damage, but standard wear and tear, that's all my maintenance
Right.
cost.
Right, so, okay, so we'll,
Okay.
those were the.
We got the panels delivered for these also today.
Oh, okay, so,
Got it. That was not, that was another thing that was coming for another project. But yeah, we got Harrington and Malden's panels delivered.
okay,
Um,
so,
Yes, we're going.
They can go on other projects. I've got other projects they can take. But yeah, that was another one where we kind of jumped on it.
Does the council have any additional questions for David? Because probably if we do have a special morning meeting to actually sign the contract, Mr. Funk will not be here at that morning meeting perhaps, and so this would probably be the time to make sure that if we've got any concerns that we address them now.
You also, I would say the other concern that other schools and towns would have is like design. Once the contract's signed, we go do our permitting and our final design, and we bring it back to you and get your approval on location and all of that stuff. So you have the final say in any design. So there's always a secondary kind of me coming and saying, this is what I did, what do you guys think? So that is another control item that you guys have.
the location of this system, I think it could look like a 3-headed wombat, and it would still be an improvement down there.
Yeah, you are gonna hurt that area.
And I think the biggest thing that when we talked about design, David, that my chief concern is that under every scenario, the city cannot be worse off than before we take this. So like if 11 years in, there's a big hailstorm that comes through, or the trackers break, or something like that, we need to have a way to at least that we couldn't be on the hook for anything like, because if under every scenario we're at least in the as good as we are today, then I don't see any reason to go do this. But if we have any liabilities to the future, we can't inherit a liability that is unfunded. So from what you've told me, that I haven't come up with a scenario, like even if the tracker breaks, he said that you could crank them into a position and just get the light as it goes, put them flat, right? And so as long as we have those contingencies to keep it running, it sounds like even a lot of the maintenance is stuff that our public works could do, and not the electrical, but short of that, we could do a lot of the mechanical parts of that ourselves.
So the one nice thing about this is solar has been here for the past 50 years in some way, shape, or form. And it's only going to improve, and it's only going to get better. So even if you were picking out a manufacturer of a solar panel, in 10 years from now, it breaks and that manufacturer doesn't exist anymore, someone else has filled that void. Which is different than that component that they were trying to force down us at the wastewater treatment plant, which was a one-off, one company, one system, and only their stuff worked in it, which if they went out of business, we were just SOL. So that's a nice thing about it.
It's modular.
Right. And who's to say in 10 years when we buy the system for $100 and we find that we can spend $400 to buy a panel that's 8 times more efficient than what's down there, and we swap them out anyway.
Yeah, it's called repowering. Very common. So you already have a power plant, you've got it all there. Just even the projects that I built, these numbers are getting bigger, but like 15 years ago, are now, I would say, right, we were building 250 watt mods, and now the ones that we're going to build up in Spokane are 630 watt mods.
Whoa.
So that's been in the 15 years, it's tripled. Performance has gotten better. They've become bifacial, so they collect on both sides. Just every tiny little bit. You're seeing like 1% in all areas.
And batteries are improving. I mean, think about it. Okay.
We'll go off grid at some point.
The city won't.
Credo won't either.
Steve, I will, I don't think you, I don't also see how the trackers would leave you guys in a worse position.
No, I've kept mulling it over and I can't, but I'm just saying at every opportunity, because that's what tends to happen with city stuff is someone wants to give us something and then 10 years later, it's like, oh, now we inherited a big maintenance liability that we can't cover. So that's just the thing that is top of my mind. I know David has been focused on that as well because we've seen it. So as long as we have those bases covered, I think we should be fine.
I'd say that just the only thing between something that moves and something that doesn't move is something that doesn't move has less issues.
Yeah.
Right? What I am finding out is that mowing is a big pain in my butt. Sorry,
Well, if this thing is elevated and it's gravelled underneath it, it's not going to be mowed, it's going to be sprayed.
Yeah.
True.
So that's.
And you said that you could buy the motors actually, like at Granger.
Maybe not Granger, but yeah, we
But
would have
you-
the skew.
Yeah, you could just buy the motor.
And in theory, they exist to make us money, right? So we would be financially, hopefully, in most situations, if it breaks, we are financially incentivized to fix it. Because you could not fix it, but then you're going to just be paying Avista more money as a difference. So, I mean,
Yeah. In this scenario, in the tracker scenario, we are 4 cents cheaper than Avista starting next year. So that's about a 30% reduction in your energy usage.
the bills down there are not small.
And I believe the energy usage is going to go up at the sewer from talking to the sewer guys.
Yeah, it actually is. There might be some different motors and aerators that we can put in that will be more efficient, but we're also putting in a rotating screen, which is a brand new mechanical powerized system.
Yeah, more efficient, but also run more constantly
Yeah.
with how they're going to be doing that. So, all right. Well, I appreciate you putting in the effort. I'm ready to buy these things.
Okay. Well, we'll. I mean, Are you around this weekend? Because I'm just trying to think.
Yeah.
when I have time to physically put
Yes,
cells up.
I
Okay,
am
will-
around.
I will call you probably Saturday, most likely when
Okay.
the chaos is going on down there. Early in the ditch fire.
Great. I'm totally free.
Okay, cool.
Got dinner.
No, this will be before dinner. So, okay. What's next on our agenda, unless anybody has anything else? Okay, moving on. As you guys may have read, we're supposed to have a utility planning commission. And the purpose of it is to kind of just keep these fees and keep these costs in the front and foremost, so we can adjust things as needed. It's supposed to be 3 people at a minimum, 1 council member and 2 others. They don't have to be on council. If you, and it was described, this position was described in the paperwork I happen to send you, on the water utilities and everything. Anybody interested in that, heading up that committee?
I can do it.
Okay.
It's not going to come to much good though, because the numbers are the numbers and we're gonna have to drive pretty much the same direction. And I will tell the other people that would be on that with me. But
Yeah, there's a couple of other functions that they do, like approving water connections.
Hmm.
Or at least
Uh,
reviewing them to be approved, so.
That would seem odd to me that non-elected officials would have a voice in approving a water connection.
I think it was to look at and give their advice on whether to approve it or not approve it.
Hmm.
So who would have the final say? We council or the mayor?
I'd have to reread it. It's
I read just a
part
little
of the code.
tidbit too.
Yeah. So,
We'll find 3 to 7 people, we got 1. To find 2 others or
yeah.
6
and
others.
They
is gonna
can
a-
be on council, or they don't have to be on council. They serve at the pleasure of the mayor, and you guys have to basically voice your concerns if you don't want that person.
Was there any term limits on them? I didn't read that part.
I didn't see that either. Okay. Stephen, I'll work with you and reread the parameters and
Hmm.
get that put in place.
Okay.
Okay. Tree wasted designated areas plan to present. We didn't formally get a plan put together, but Lance, the parameters that he would like to do for this is every other week at the most. And specifically a Monday or Tuesday of that week. Because he doesn't want to, of course, it's on the top of his mind this time of year. Everything is up at Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is all about yard keeping and mowing and all the rest of it. So he's thinking a Monday or a Tuesday every other week. They would basically come down here, check in, wherever he or whoever it is at, would interrupt, come down here, basically take them to where to dump it, get it dumped, and then they're on their way. He did get the question answered. Can we take material that is in a maggot quarantine area, which is the city, out of the city, which technically that property is not in the city limits? And the answer is yes, as long as it stays.
It's owned by the city.
It's owned by the city. It was a question.
Yeah.
That had to be answered, and it got answered today. So as long as it stays within the confines of the highway and it's not going outside of the city out down the highway, they're okay with it. So we can do this, in case anybody asks. So, that's the plan. Are you guys okay with that?
Down there in the rock pit?
Yeah, they would have a designated spot where people could go and it would be purposeful to the larger branches, the trunks, the trees, what have you, to basically create a huge burn pile that we can burn during the dead of the winter.
How much of our labor is it gonna pull off? I mean, if they come in here and want, you know, or somebody go down there, are we gonna take both of our crew members down there?
I'm thinking only one.
That's kind of my concern.
And it's
You know.
not for them to unload it.
No,
It's
no,
for
just
them
oversee.
to just oversee what's getting unloaded.
Correct.
And you said that they would be pulled off and they're not gonna be waiting on this.
No, they're not gonna be hanging around waiting.
Okay.
Let's say they're up running the camera down a sewer line.
Right, they would
2
stop what
o'clock
they're
on an
doing.
afternoon on Tuesday, and suddenly somebody comes in, it's like, okay, well, I gotta go do this, and I'll be back in 20 minutes.
Set up an appointment then to meet down there.
Well,
Through here,
hadn't necessarily been thinking about an appointment. It was like, just only on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And when you come in, then you get met and taken
I-
out.
And
Would
maybe
that work?
maybe a time frame.
I think I'd like to start by setting an appointment.
Now, this is for people cutting up grass clippings or tree
No,
removal?
no, this is for, it's to keep grass clippings and small brush and all the rest of it in the green bin, and keep the larger,
Like the branches and
the
the
branches,
trees.
and where
tree
somebody
trunks,
removes a tree. and-
stumps.
Yeah, when I bought my house, I had 3 of those black locusts taken out, and that was a lot.
Well, for the most part, if you're doing it all yourself, a lot of people work on the weekends. Would it behoove us to have do it on a Saturday, have it open?
You want to pay them
I
time and a
don't
half?
think you're gonna get a lot of support. I mean, Public Works is gonna do what they're told to do, but I don't think it's gonna go very well for morale if you tell them on July 11th, they have to be.
But how much
make themselves
babysitting are
available.
we really looking for them to do?
Just
They
be-
Open the gate
Open the
and
gate, make sure that
look
they're
at the
Let
back.
empty the couch.
Because you're paying them to
Right.
do that.
Yeah,
on a Saturday is not, I would be totally against it
But I mean,
on the weekend.
In
Totally
other
against
words,
it.
you can, one of them, you could change their work hours to accommodate
I
that.
wouldn't start doing that to people. That takes morale and just knocks it in the hole. I mean, you
So like,
can-
like a
we
Monday,
can't-
this is
can
right
do
after
it.
the weekend.
Oh, that's such a
Yeah,
shame
and
having to work.
we can't rely, unfortunately, we can't rely. Cassie is constantly sending me pictures of Odessa where they've got a space where people are allowed to do this.
Mhm.
And they
Tires.
shut it down
Yeah.
twice in the past
and Wilbur
month.
and Creston, I saw that on their
Yes.
Facebook
'Cause they abuse it.
pages.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
throw tires and couches.
and
Construction.
Well, then we'll find out a way,
refrigerators.
if this kind of bullshit BS is happening, we'll just find a way to start charging them for the bins. I don't know why we're just sitting on our butts not doing
How are
anything
we going to
about it.
charge for the bins?
We'll figure a way, put our heads together and do it. It's costing the city.
The
I
only
understand
way-
that, but I don't see there is no way that we can charge for the bins. Then it's just
For-
going to stack in their yard.
For what it's worth, because of the storms and the winds that we've had lately, Lance took it upon himself to get a second green bin
Yeah, I saw
down
that.
there,
Yeah.
which the county said, no, we got one that isn't being used, so they brought it down here and they're letting it basically fill it gratis. They're not charging us anything extra,
Mm.
Okay.
you know, because it's a one-time thing and it's for the right reason. So,
Mm.
but that being said, the only way that we can charge, that I can think of, that we can charge for the recycling and the green waste bins is if we roll it back into what our garbage rates, which means we would be taking back the garbage billing again.
And we've got the outside of the area that dumps it too as well, I know.
We can't make a separate green waste charge on there.
We,
I'm not saying I like that idea. I'm just curious.
Well, I know years ago-
I'm just saying we can help address the subsidizing within the garbage fees if we took it back. That's all I'm saying.
The Monday, Tuesday thing, back to that, sorry. Years ago, the landfill out here, what's his name, well, Sox was out there, and they had certain days and certain times that it was open. Period. But I don't know how much would it really get used. You wouldn't really utilize somebody sitting around down there twiddling their thumbs.
My opinion is if we have it available, the people that should be using it will use it, and it will severely limit how much, we all know, I should rephrase this, we all assume, we're probably not wrong, that a good fair amount of that waste is not generated in Harrington.
Right.
Now, the recycling bin is supposed to be kind of a community thing, and people from outside of the community
Yeah,
can
they
bring in
give
the
us a
recycling and all the rest of it. But the green bin, because we're in a Apple quarantine zone, is specifically supposed to be for Harrington residents.
Well, here's my 2 cents with it. Maybe that no one might like this one, but I'd say between now and our next meeting, run a trial where it's by appointment only, 5 days a week. Now, I think it'll be a while. First of all, I don't think you'll have anybody in the first 2 weeks because we have to put some posters up. We'll have to communicate it. It'll take a while for it to even be on anyone's radar. So I don't think all of a sudden we're going to do this and then they're just going to be doing it all day long every day. But to the point of, well, I work this day, I can't do it, I would say sometime in the week you would be able to schedule it, probably. And who knows, we might get lucky enough that you get a couple every week and they say, well, they're scheduled days in advance, and I just kind of work around knowing at 3 o'clock I got to go check the truck real quick and let them in, and I'll be back here in 15 minutes, and maybe we can kind of handle that, and there will be more usage than trying to drive it on Mondays, because sure shooting, someone's going to come in here and be like, I can't do Mondays because I work all day, da-da-da-da-da-da. So I'd say in the course of a week, you should hopefully be able to find some time to do it in business hours, and then at the next meeting, if we come here and say, oh, this was just too much, it was running our public works ragged, well, then I'll apologize, and I'll give a personal apology to our public works and say that was a dumb idea, but I don't think we'll get overwhelmed in the course of at least 1 month. That's my 2 cents.
I like your 2 cents, but I like it just 3 days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I'm harping on this lawn mowing, and then I don't want to see him getting off the lawnmower. I have my personal vendetta.
I was going to say, if we do this and it gets busy,
I know.
they're not going to take crap.
I know. I understand.
No, and I understand that if I drive something like this and the Public Works points to this then I take my lumps. But then that's the goal of an engaged council, is to push against each other and come to the middle on it. So that's fine.
We could eliminate it if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, all we
Yeah,
gotta do
we'll
is just say
just
it's
close the
no
gates.
longer there. You
Yeah.
know? It's not something that was viable and didn't work for us, and sorry.
The first
But I would
bag
say
of
if we're doing
garbage
3,
from
do Monday, Wednesday,
Yeah.
Friday. Spread it through the week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you're offering any 3 days a week, spread it through the whole week.
I guess I'd be fine with that. I don't know what they like to mow on Fridays, or do they really care?
They try to have that place going into the weekend looking as
Okay, then
Yeah.
Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, or something. I just try and get some breadth in the week, but yeah, fine. Leave Friday off of it if that's what.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday.
Yeah, sure.
How about Tuesday, Wednesday?
Question. Enough
Do we
discussion.
need do we need to vote on this?
No, I
This
think
is
this
just
is just policy.
I want a consensus. I don't want to vote because I don't want to have to
Okay.
write up
Yeah.
a resolution.
Okay, I'm good with the consensus, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday.
Sure.
But
By appointment.
By appointment only.
By-
My appointment isn't, I need an appointment in 5 minutes from now. It's
1 day.
1 day in advance, at least.
1 business day in advance. And then we'll hopefully pick up enough information from this month to figure out how to do this even better. We don't even know if there'll be much demand for this or a lot of demand. We need a little bit of data to know how to tweak this
Well,
idea.
That thing is getting filled up a lot.
It does.
They've had to have it emptied more times this year, and I think they're up there almost daily crushing it down.
Well, I know there's
I know people are
greenways.
cutting down trees every single day in this town.
Well, everything here is overgrown, and it's the end of the.
Well, I know
slide,
there's,
you know.
don't get me wrong, I know there's plenty of green waste produced. The question in my mind is a person gonna wanna just dump it in the green waste bin anyways and say, I'll throw it on the top and I don't care? Or is a person gonna avail themselves of this kind of a thing to actually use it? That's the open question in my mind. Because I don't think there's anything inherently driving a person away from just filling the green waste bin to overflowing, even if we do this. In some ways, they're doing the city a favor. So,
But like I said, don't even think a lot of it comes from outside the city anyway. I mean, people are
Not a lot, I'd say there's a percentage, but
I would have.
I don't know if I don't know if I've heard much report of green waste being carted to the city. I mean, certainly the garbage, yes. But I don't know if a person is driving trucks to the city to dump off green waste or not.
what I've noticed and stuff, I'd say like probably 10%.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there are, you know, you're
it's not
saying
huge.
city limits, as far as this apple maggot thing, it's outside the city limits. It's, you know, the tower out here, it's, you know, right at the edge of Davenport.
Do you have a map? of this?
On the Tokyo Road is right at the county line.
Mm-hmm.
Sprague is, because I put all these darn signs up. There's one at Ed Wall, you know, the walk-on road, but you can't go out of this area. So this area is not just here.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but we are one of the few that are required to have this green waste bin that then gets taken to, what is it, Wakanda, because they've got the.
Who takes a bar tack at
Bar-
Fish Tap,
Okay.
Fish Truck?
Okay.
And they drive right by the signs to get there.
Yep.
So what you're saying, it's out of the quarantine
They have
area.
actually
A cover.
A cover that seals it off. How effective that is, I don't know. But I don't know if you guys noticed, but the Department of Ag has put a number of traps throughout the city, hanging on different
I've
pumps
seen
and stuff
them.
like that.
What are they trying to catch?
They're trying to see if there's
Murder
the
hornets.
apple maggot population actually is. And I hope
They're
they
not
don't
after
catch
the
a damn one.
Japanese beetle?
I had an hour-long conversation with these guys trying to figure out what we had to do to get off this list, and I have never encountered more job boogie in all my life.
Or what?
Job boogie. Just,
Got it.
yeah.
It's a nice way of putting it.
So, okay, we'll give it a try. It'll probably take a week or so to get set up. You know, I am without Cassie, so I gotta
Mm-hmm.
creatively get that done. Okay. Cemetery guidelines.
Okay, I'll start again. I think this is a preliminary. I'm gonna try to get a committee together, and I would invite all the city councilmen and the mayor that we can get together. It'll probably be after we could go up this week or next week. I'm gonna be gone for 2 weeks. I'm thinking we're gonna allow fake flowers, but they need to be at just certain time. It'll be the weekend before Memorial Day weekend, and we will pull them after the weekend after Memorial Day. So that would be, they could be there possibly 2 weeks and 2 days.
So you're saying we will pull them,
Well,
Public Works will just,
Public Works will
And
just
throw 'em away?
garbage
Okay.
them.
So allow fake flowers specifically for Memorial Day weekend?
Memorial Day weekend. Any other, if I want to go put fake flower by my parents' grave, when they come by to mow, they can pull them out. It doesn't matter if they've been there 1 day or 10 days.
Okay.
Even if they're using their the built-in vase?
Well, that's one thing that we need to talk about a little bit more is the built-in vases. When they are up, they're a hazard to get run over.
Right.
And so that's something that we can talk about more. But right now, I'd pull, my opinion, you pull them out of there too. It's all or nothing. We're not going to show favorites. The second thing is no more live plantings, no more bushes, rose bushes, flowers planted in the ground, trees, anything. I will grandfather any live plantings that are up there now as long as they're maintained. And I guess that would be the purview of the mayor and the public works. I don't think that we should take out or the cemetery committee, however you want to do that. I talked to a person that's actually taking care of the McCartney ones and the Gooley ones, and she is perfectly, she'd go out and take hers out right now. Has no problem with that. Any ones that aren't maintained, and I know there's some up there, Bill appears, when Les was alive, it looked really good. Now it doesn't, they're gone. With City Works, weed whack spray, whatever it takes. And I think that's it. But I guess the live ones, and that's what I want to get a few more people that actually go up there and put quite a bit of work in tending their grave sites and make sure that we're not going to step on a bunch of toes. I know that we're probably going to, and I totally understand removing all the fake flowers. They sit up there all year long, and then their petals are during the winter because they come apart and they're hard to go around, and that includes pinwheels and butterflies and rocks and
Solar powered.
Flags that get all,
all that stuff. There's a few up there, and that's is it the veterans? What?
Yeah,
They have those stakes.
but they were the ones that to put flags in. Well, we don't have the flags that even fit them.
Yeah.
I would say remove them.
I would say remove them too. I can think of about 3 of these hoops that plant in the ground. They can hold a flower basket, and those flowers will be gone in 2 weeks too. But the hoops do band on a couple of them so that you can drive a mower over them. They go over the concrete and up next to the tombstone. That's something we need a little bit more input. I know who they are that have them. Trying to make this easy. Any other cemetery, as I've said, went to 12 cemeteries this Memorial Day. We're the only one that actually mows a cemetery that leaves the flowers there all year.
And you want them removed by next weekend of Memorial
The
Day?
next weekend of Memorial Day would be, what, Memorial Day's the 4th Monday or whatever, the last Monday. And so the following Monday, which would be in June, most likely, not every year, but most likely,
Next
the
weekend.
flowers would be gone.
Okay.
They'd have the weekend to come back and get them.
Only 1 week. Okay.
Yeah, 1 week. 1 week before, 1 week after. Most cemeteries won't let you plant flowers until the Wednesday of Memorial Day weekend.
Okay, what about the vases? 'Cause
Well, that's
most of them. What has happened? They've been up so long. You got to dig them out about every 2 years to get them back in the ground. They're all silted in and stuff. So are we going to go dig them out so we can flip them over and put them down, or is that where are we there?
I don't know that.
That's where it's kind of their property. Although I guess it's their property. I don't know how that works.
These are the ones that are in earth themselves or in concrete?
They're in the concrete.
But you know
They
what
fill
happens
dirt.
when they
Yeah.
go when they
Lawn
go out and
clippings
pick all
and
the
stuff.
flowers off them. Here's the vase sticking up there, and boy, the lawnmower would make a mincemeat out of
Yep.
that. So then we're liable for fixing them. You know, where are we at on that?
Those are in the concrete, or they're actually the built into the headstone ones?
They're in the concrete.
In the concrete.
There aren't any, I don't think, that are in the headstones.
Well, see, because I'm getting my mom's ordered, and they gave me the option to get a built-in one, and I said no. I don't want that because
Yeah.
I'm not going to go up there and maintain it.
They are a pain in the butt.
Yeah, I would
my
think
mom
so.
had to have them, and they're a pain in the butt.
I would think
So I was going to bring this up in mayor's comments, but since we're here, I have hired a couple of young people to work temporary, part-time, specifically at the cemetery. Their primary function is to get the piles of chestnuts and pine needles and pine cones and everything dragged out from underneath the trees and disposed of.
Those go in the green bins.
They've actually been going in the garbage can.
Oh.
Anyway, we're just trying to get it beautified up there. So if you look underneath the tree and it looks like hell, it's because
Well,
it's gonna look better later on. But that being said, we've got some cheap labor. And if you wanted, I could task them to go through the cemetery and look at things like vases that are sticking up and what does it take to get them corrected and turned upside down. You know, Mitchell, I know this probably has zero interest in.
Well,
to
no, I
you,
find
so-
it fascinating. I'm
Okay.
hearing a bunch of stuff. Go right ahead.
Okay.
Are these two that you
I
hired?
put you in the front because I wanted to make sure if you wanted to leave, there was nothing to, hold you.
Well, I think there's only one road here, but okay.
Okay.
Are these two that you hired, are they high school age or are they,
Okay, so they're the children of our newest part-time hire. They're both graduates of high school, so they're both over 18.
okay, well, I was just wondering their ability to problem solve and do stuff like that. If they were
If-
kids or if they're older, it sounds like they're older.
They're older, and I have not met them yet, but from everything I'm hearing, they have the same work ethic as their mom, which is huge. And I kind of put her over in charge of them, so it sounds like there's going to be no rest for them.
Okay.
Although apparently they did yesterday when they were working, they cut out pretty early in the afternoon because it was just too bloody hot, which, okay.
well, maybe we could get them to clean those vases out, the vases
That's
out,
what I'm
you
leading
know,
up to,
that-
is that if there's stuff like this. that
If
you
we could get them cleaned up and, flip them over and put them down, at least it lasts a year or two. I think I did mine 2 years ago and they still go down. So,
Okay.
I think that would be a good idea. What do you guys think? To get them.
Well, no, I think that would be great.
Because then we aren't gonna have, if they get run over and the base is broke or something, then we're gonna have to figure out, how do we fix these? How do we, take care of it?
I guess I want to treat everybody the same up there. So
Yeah.
for pulling the flowers that are sitting in the lawn, we need to pull the fake flowers that are in the vases.
And I know we're gonna have people that are opposed to that. that they-
Well, I know. We
it's
had
just-
one this morning that was,
Yeah.
Well, as far as what you want them to do, you're the boss, you decide.
Well, ironically, the cemetery
That's
is the
simple.
council's responsibility.
You
I
hire-
don't know that I
Could
hear
have you do whatever
anything
you want.
objectionable in any of that.
well, I don't want to have actually pass policy until I get a few more people's opinions. Not that they're gonna probably sway me very much, but I think this is a good starting point anyway.
Because quite honestly, once you get that figured out, I'd like to write it up as a resolution.
Sure, I'm great for that, and maybe I'll try very much the middle of next week to get some people up there, and then I'll let you
It took us years to
know.
get to here at this point. We're at least talking about it. This is the first time the cemetery has gotten this much attention since I've been here, so I'm all for it. It's a huge chunk of real estate that we own, and
Costs us a lot.
costs us a lot, and might as well take care of it.
Yep.
So, okay.
Well,
Anything
and
else?
make it to where it's, feasible to do it, where they aren't trying to weed around all this junk.
Hey,
Not junk,
You know, if you go on the west side, I mean, I've seen cemetery corporations take out 100-year-old headstones and replace them with just your standard, whatever they're.
Mow over the top.
Over the top of them.
Yeah.
and- Yeah, and, okay. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, consent agenda.
Move to approve with I heard that we were pulling the minutes.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any comments?
Just trying to do this every month. I looked at the money market and the checking, and it looks like we got interest on the money market up a couple $100, and then the checking was down like $800. So thus far in the year, I'm assuming we should be well within budget, because I think if don't quote me, but I believe we've gained 30,000 in those two accounts over the course of the year, so we are slightly clawing upwards, to date anyway.
I'll confess I've not been paying attention to them. I look at them literally what we're spending on a day-to-day basis. I rarely look at what's coming in, so.
Well, that's kind of what got us in a little bit of hot water. Not you specifically, but all of us not looking at those long-term trends. So that's why I'm just calling it out every month so that we're aware. So that's all good news.
Okay.
6 months in and we're doing what we're supposed to do.
Any additional comments?
Oh, good.
Okay. All in favor of approving the consent agenda without the minutes, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
5-0, thank you. And
My-
items to address outside of the minutes.
I'll move to approve and put it in discussion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Minutes. So we have a motion to approve them.
Second.
Okay. Go ahead.
The thing is, I wanted to change is what I said today. So, because I did not say at the last council meeting, that I wanted to see a ban on artificial flowers.
Page 5,
Yeah, page 5.
posted guidelines for cemetery.
Yeah, we discussed it, but I don't think that I didn't go back. It's not that big a deal. But I didn't say that at that meeting, but I did say it tonight.
Just get rid of it because
Just,
there's more problems
We
with it
could
than
say-
just that.
We could
Yeah.
change it to just, you discussed a ban on.
I would be fine with that.
We didn't really discuss a ban, we just,
I know, but
I haven't got it for some reason.
well, the way this, well, get into it later, right now.
I think it's.
Okay, anything else?
Yes, on page 4, first paragraph,
I think this.
it has myself saying I do not like the city will have to sacrifice a parking lot. It should be spot. Because I listened to the tape.
Yeah, I
A lot's
remember
different
you
than a
said
spot.
spot.
Yeah.
I remember that you said spot.
Okay, so we're
Or I should have said
replace the
space.
word
but
lot
yeah.
with spot.
Yeah, and that I'm good.
Okay,
And I'm good. Move we accept the minute. I guess we already did. Question,
I can't.
As amended.
On mine.
As amended.
I had something down here that I said that I didn't say.
well, let's get it corrected now.
Yeah,
So,
I was able to bring it up before and I can't get it to come up now.
you want to, here,
Hard copy.
There's what I'm looking at.
What was it about?
are we,
It was on those
can we
signs
do
that we
both
needed-
sets of minutes simultaneously?
Signs. What's that?
Can we do both
Well, we
sets?
only, I guess when we said pull the minutes, we
Okay,
didn't
events
specify
is
which
page
one
3.
of them,
Yeah.
but we were only referring to one document, so I would interpret that as the other set of minutes was a part of the consent agenda, because that is not what anyone voiced.
This events committee is what I was bringing up. The borrowed signs was fine to do.
Because
but-
we said
but
the minutes.
It also said that we needed to buy signs by the fall festival and we weren't there.
Okay.
That wasn't in there.
She was barely here. that
No,
day.
she
Well,
was
that's
not
fine.
good.
No,
Yeah, just,
it happens, but I mean, for perpetuity, going forward, I mean,
So what page is that, Jim?
page 5.
which I think is underneath,
No, excuse me, 3. Where it says Building Codes Committee, Code Enforcement Committee, Events Committee,
Okay.
you're right
Yep.
there.
Events committee, yeah. Borrowed signs, okay. I said, but the city will need to purchase signs for future events. Let's strike the but the city needs to purchase signs for future events.
Just say, city will need, or the city will need to purchase signs for future
Yeah,
events.
we don't need to do it.
Or in the future.
By the fall festival is what the, We can borrow for this year and then next year.
So how do you want it to be corrected?
Just take it, that we have to buy signs by the fall festival.
So
You just take, but the city will need to purchase signs for
Right.
future events, just strike that whole
Strike
thing.
that.
Yeah, that's,
And we're doing this all wrong. We should not put any signs up. That way they get up there and then they're trapped up there and more people for them.
Okay.
uh,
Anything else?
No, I'm good with it. Looks good.
thank you for your patience.
Of course. Okay, so now can I entertain a motion as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion to accept the minutes as amended. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, additions to the agenda. Library funding.
I'll keep it brief. Library will be making an official proposal to us for budget that, without committing anything to on their behalf, we will probably find favorable. So I'll just say that. The one thing that was discussed that they would like to explore that I was at fault for volunteering is that I think that I don't know, to the extent that I understand the budgets and stuff, I do not know why we cannot generate a reserve fund for them. We have a water reserve fund, we have a street reserve fund, I think we have a sewer reserve fund. They are fully in a use it or lose it status. That has generated hardship for them, and
I see what you're saying. They end up with something at the end.
and so they are encouraged to spend it on lesser value things rather than, well, we'd like to save this and pair this with some of next year's budget in order to buy a bigger, more value-laden thing. And so that would
Roll it over into a savings.
yeah.
Okay, it sounds like. Can we do that?
I am.
There's
There's that
some-
reserve in the bars codes and the setups. They've got reserves for damn near everything. I don't know why they would not. I just don't think it's ever been done here.
Right, that's
So-
what I theorized. I think it will, they would like it, they would enjoy it, and then I also think it encouraged them to be even more fiscally responsible when they can kind of
So-
control their own money.
My proposition to those that are gonna be working on the budget with me is that we just add that as a line item into the budget, especially when we amend 2026.
Yes. So I'd like that explored, and that way we can give them an official, if there's any reason why we can't do it.
That's probably something I'm gonna put on Cassie when she gets back,
Mhm.
especially since she's been doing so much training on budgeting.
Mhm.
Okay,
That was it, thank you.
okay. You guys wanted to talk about the surplus items. I'll tell you, I haven't done a bloody thing, I'm sorry,
You've been busy.
so.
I just know that there was some that we were saying that we supposedly had offer in hand, so I was just wondering if, when the time comes that you can find time for them, if we can call people up and say, offer's still good, send me the check, take it.
I literally have a sealed bid for that Huber grader in the
Yep.
desk. It is still sealed. I have no clue what it says.
Okay. I know we have big things going, but
Have any headway on the real property? Land?
No, I mean, I haven't done anything with it. It's pretty much where I presented it to you last time, you know. If we're
So
gonna-
it's stagnated?
Well, so the one piece that's basically being used as a parking lot, we're not gonna put it up for sale because the only person that it has any value to is the school, and the school doesn't want it. And if-
Well, I wasn't referring to
And then
that.
the other property, quite honestly, it's stagnated because all the issues that are going on, and there's some other issues that I can talk about offline, but I don't know how to deal with that, and we can't dispose of the property the way you want to, or at least everything that I'm being told.
I mean, by law?
Yeah, but, I mean, it has to do with, you know, fair market value. Is, that's
Well, I think, didn't we decide that we would lease it to them?
well, we didn't decide anything. I know that
I
was.
mean,
thrown
that's
out as
kicked
an
around,
option,
I
yeah.
should say.
So, like I said, I haven't had any definitive direction one way or the other on what you guys would like to see,
Okay.
so.
No, I'm not trying to-
Add it to the budget, I mean, to the agenda next time.
I'm not trying to bust your knees or anything, I'm just saying that was something we talked about, and we had concerns of one way, and we decided to go another way, and we never revisited that, we never
Well,
entertained any
maybe
specifics.
maybe David and I can volunteer to go talk to the property owners about what the council expressed last meeting. Be okay with that, David?
Mhm.
Okay.
When do you want to paint the street? Or mark it, let's say, not paint. I want to be clear, clarify that.
I don't know if I talked to you guys, but I talked to Dave Sanford about striping.
Mhm.
They are not going to do any striping this year. They didn't have enough snow where they really wore things off. They have ordered very little paint. He said they would be happy to do it for us, that they would look at it and get us a price of what it would cost, but it'll be next year.
Think another
If they've
year.
got the template, we've got the paint and the
Well,
spray.
you just have to paint the,
Yeah, but center line stripe, you're gonna have to try to, it takes a machine to get that straight. I mean,
Well,
you
that's
shoot
what I'm
that with a
saying. That's what
laser.
I'm saying, that I was thinking of the template, you know, drop it
Oh,
on the
just
ground.
a
and
stencil, boom, boom,
Yeah.
oh.
right now, certain light conditions, and what Jim was referring to, is that you mark,
It's like, do you use the styrofoam brush? You're the painter, Gavin. I mean, tell us, how does it?
That wouldn't last long on the road.
I'll get some marking tape or paint and I will,
We've,
Just
what
say
I'm saying
it.
is
I'll say
we have the paint.
okay, you got
And we've
yellow,
got this, we've got the spray.
because it's not going to be too long.
just a
with
dot,
the-
a dot, a
w-
dot.
Yes, the beginning and end of them, just so you
So
don't
we don't
lose.
lose,
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's just mark them so they're.
yeah, and they'll be visible.
Well, we've got that paint too.
Okay,
I think I got a
okay, 'cause
paint-
I was gonna
got a
pick some
can
up.
of the-
I was gonna pick some up
case of
for
that.
Ken yesterday and I kinda forgot it till I was going over the
I've
hill.
got that mark, you know, the marking, same, we got white marking tape, same as they use for doing the locates.
Well, we're going to lose a lot of that if we don't get on it because of the truck traffic on the.
Yeah, I'll get it done.
Just do the alpha and omega, beginning and end.
Exactly.
Mayor's comments, again, we've got the country fair this weekend. Roads are closing at 7:30. I have to find the paperwork to know when they're reopening. So, I'll be putting up all the road, I'll be putting out all the road closed signs at 7:30, and then Lance is gonna come in the afternoon and put them all up.
Okay,
So-
I'll get these marked. These are the only ones we haven't got, I haven't got
And yeah,
measured.
remember, it's just from Maine to Sherlock on this one.
Yeah, so I haven't put this, I haven't measured the one from this coming this way. I'll get those marked. I've got the signs in my pickup.
Okay.
And then
Um,
you guys can put the,
Is that going to be?
figure out the road closed and
Yeah.
all that stuff. Okay, okay.
What street is that?
And like I said, I wanted to start, it sounds like it might be a challenge, but we want to get scheduled a workshop for the budget, to start working on a budget amendment. I don't know if you want to try and schedule that right now.
And could we, when we do that, could we also go visit the cemetery? If you're going to be.
Well, if we want to,
you're gonna
I'm
be
fine
out
with
there.
that.
Okay, so I have a number of workshops that I want to ask for. One is for the budget, one is for the utilities. And a lot of that has to do with our utility codes. A workshop for our tech issues, getting computers set up and established. I need to work with you on.
I know, I've been ghosting you lately because I've had a lot going on, but I'm sorry.
For
I'll get
example,
my
I wanna
act
I want to
together.
get this printer
right here, this brother, I want to move it down to the shop.
Okay.
So,
You and I can work. I'll find you some time this week, and we'll knock a few of these out.
okay. And then I heard we might need to have a workshop pretty quick to come up with a cleanup day to speak to Michael's idea.
So is everyone around next week?
I'm around next week. You know,
I'll be
harvest.
in the area. We won't be cutting yet. I'll be weeding.
Is morning better for you, or
Yeah, I'd rather do morning.
I would too.
Wednesday morning,
Next
Yeah.
Wednesday,
Yeah.
Sure.
8,
6.
5 in the morning.
7.
7.
At least 7. 6 is
7.
fine.
I'd do 6.
I do 6.
Okay, I'd do 6.
Sometimes-
Steve
will do
just
6 because he's
rolls
got
his
a
eyes.
key, so he can let you in. I'll
You
be
don't
here
have
at
to go to
7.
bed.
7's fine.
7's fine with me too.
We're just trying to keep
Well, let's say,
busy.
the 15th?
July 15th, yes. Okay.
You wouldn't hear me say no.
And then we'll need
But
to
I
have a
could
workshop
reach-
for this. Sounds like we need to have a workshop for the cemetery. Maybe that goes.
Maybe that can kind of go along with this.
Or
I
do
don't
we
think
want to
I.
just put that on next agenda because it sounds like by the time you're gone 2 weeks and
Yeah.
talk to this person and that person.
Well, if we start at 6, we can get it all done before the coffee shop opens.
I think we ought to go at 5.
Let's light it for
That's when I'm up.
I'm up. See what working mornings all the time did to you? Is gonna do to you?
You see the time that half my emails go out. They're out going out at 11 o'clock at midnight, what have you.
Yeah.
So.
We are somewhat divided
Well, what
on
about
our
on your
day,
shift when you had to
time of
do
day
your-
here.
It's age
Go
related.
to 2:30?
God, you think so? But see, if we get our meeting done by 10, I can go home and take a snoozer.
Well, I have to be in my office at 9, so I will not.
Okay.
I'm-
That's good. That's a good limiter. That's
Yeah.
good.
And if that day, maybe we might go grab a cup of coffee and we may go up to the cemetery who's left and look around, and I may invite some more people. I know there's a couple, and they're out of towners, but they do a lot up there. So I want to get their ideas on it.
No, let's-
And I
let's get a
will-
deal done. Okay.
I think transparency is something we really want to do. We wanna
Yeah.
give some people, a chance to.
And
us
I'll
their
give you-
feelings,
A really good idea on a resolution by the first week of August. I get home on Sunday, so
And I would say that as you're talking to these voices, some I think I probably know who you're referring to, and some I probably don't. Ideally, to the point of the whole investment with the cemetery and everything else, we need a cemetery board. So voices that are important enough to be talking about something like this need some arm twisting to say, hey, if you really want to see the cemetery done right and you really want to help manage the money and all this kind of stuff, don't just take the privilege of when we come to you and ask your opinion. Get off your butt and be willing to do something about it as well. Because otherwise we're just not going to find, we'll be stuck in that limbo forever of not being able to fulfill that because we can't generate 5 people out of thin air.
no. You're right.
Okay.
And the people that have the
We
most
used
to do with it are already up there.
You send out a reminder text
And they don't talk back.
Wednesday.
That's a good.
the day before, something.
Hearing no objection.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Pretty pleased.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's kind of hit everything else that I would have needed to talk to you guys about. So that's it for me.
Public comment?
Any other additional public comments?
We bored him to death.
We'll let you guys go home.
Move to adjourn.
Second. Ah, dang it.
Yeah, it's great.
That was
Well, nice
I
to
know
meet
too.
you guys.
All in
Nice
favor?
to meet
We'll see
you.
you guys around.
Thanks for coming. Thank you.
You don't have an extra couple million in your pocket that you can.
Boy, I know I wish